Morning, folks. Welcome to another fabulously adventurous video here in Northeast Pennsylvania. It's a really nice day today, and as you can see, I've had a wardrobe change to make this video. Today I'm going to be talking about nicknames and how I used to think I was good at coming up with them until a recent dust-up with Nephew 2.0. We'll get to that in a minute. I have a pretty good track record of coming up with nicknames that stick. Probably the most long-standing nickname is the one I came up with my brother when he was 5 years old. Back then, his nickname was Dinky. It doesn't matter what his real name is, but we called him Dinky because at the time I was reading a book called The Mad Scientist Club, and one of the characters in that book was one named Dinky Poor. So I used that word or that name to give to my brother as a nickname. Now through the years he's become known as Dink. And in fact I would guess that most of his friends don't really know what his real name is. But that's one that stuck. So another nickname that I'm quite proud of is one that I gave to one of my swimmers when I was still coaching swimming. We called this girl Speed Davis. And I thought, what a perfect name for an athlete, calling her Speed. But anyway, my team had an annual nickname meet, which meant that all the kids' nicknames, instead of having their normal name in the meet program, we were going to have them put their nicknames in the meet program. So I asked everybody to submit names of what they wanted to be called in the program. And eventually it came to the point where we had to put all the names in, and we didn't have nicknames for everybody yet. So I was talking to some of the kids after practice, and we're going through all the names of people who didn't have a nickname yet and trying to come up with one. And Speed's name was on the list. So we're trying to get a good idea of what a nickname for Speed would be. And we're thinking, and finally somebody said, wait a minute, isn't Speed already her nickname? And I knew what was going on, but I was so happy when I heard that, because it took a while for people to realize that that was her nickname, not her real name. Imagine parents naming their kids Speed. But that was a good nickname. Now, I don't know if it's stuck. I doubt that anyone calls this person Speed anymore. But it would be nice if they did, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Another name-related incident, also from my swimming days, is, well, these aren't really nicknames, but I used to have kids that would show up for practice and forgot their swimming cap, the rubber thing they wear on their head. So I thought, and they would always ask me for an extra one, do you have an extra cap? So I got tired of doing that, and I wanted to encourage them some way to remember to bring their own hats to practice. So I had a few caps printed up with names on them that I thought no one would ever want to wear. Back in those days, and I think they still do it, you can get your name printed on your cap so that everybody knows who you are when you're swimming. Anyway, the names I had put on these caps there were two of them. One was Horseface, and the other one was Gorilla Butt. Now I can guarantee you that as soon as I had started handing out those caps for those that forgot to bring their own, the girls suddenly remembered to bring their own caps a lot faster. There's no young girl that wants to be called Horseface by some wise guy 12-year-old in the lane next door. But I did notice one thing, that the boys started to go out of their way to convince me that they had forgotten their cap, because everybody wanted the Gorilla Butt cap. So that scheme worked in one way, but sort of not in another. But like I said, those aren't nicknames. They were just a name. Okay, this brings us to our latest nicknaming episode, and that involves two new additions to the family. I refer to them as my niece and nephew, or niece 3.0 and nephew 2.0. But Lady Aisha, over in the International Bigshot Research Department, informs me that they are my grand niece and grand nephew. I mean, I can't keep up with this stuff. That's why I need a research department. But anyhow, this is two nicknames that I came up with. One I think is absolutely brilliant, and that is, for the little girl, I'm calling her Junior. Now, I think Junior is a perfect nickname for a little girl because it's unconventional, and I think because she's little, I think calling her Junior right now, nobody's going to care, and by the time she's old enough to know the difference, it's going to be something that has already been embedded in everybody's mind. So Junior it is. Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good. It's one of my many fans. The second name that the second person is a little boy. Now this one was a little bit more complicated, and it's been a lot more difficult, and I'm quite surprised by that. The first name we came up with for the boy was Gizmo. Now I tend to like that name, but the more I think about it, I think we were going for something that was just too cute. I don't think anybody would actually call him Gizmo. I'm not even sure I would call him Gizmo. So the next one we came up with, one of my brothers and I thought that Mr. Gorbachev would be a good name. Now maybe it would, but again, I'm not sure of its popularity. Let's just say I don't think it would really stick, although if it did, it would really be funny, and it's something that he could really make good use of as he got older. But then something strange happened. My sister-in-law, who is not known for her nicknaming ability, came up with what I think is probably the best nickname for this little boy ever. And that is Louie. Now think about Louie. It reminds you sort of an old man maybe. So I think that Louie, as a nickname for this little boy, I'm trying to get out of the sun here. I think Louie as a nickname for this little boy is perfect, and I'm hoping that it will stick. Unfortunately, I don't see either one of them very often, so I can't use those nicknames with them so they get used to hearing me say them. And I doubt very much that their parents are calling them Junior and Louie. Although Louie, I don't know, maybe. Anyway, that's it for me today. Like I said, it's a great day outside in Northeast Pennsylvania. I hope if you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it. And we'll see you next time.